All right. Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh is the name of who the world calls God, and Yahushai is his son's name, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Those are their names in the Hebrew. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, which comes from the 12 tribes of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the true biblical Israelites, man. This is going to be another cut for Christian doctrine. And they try to say, the word was preached throughout the whole world because anybody can get it, because the word's for anybody. But when the Lord told them to do that, it was for a very specific reason, and it was part of the falling away that was going to happen. It was part of bringing the good tidings of the Lord coming, man. It was fulfilling prophecy. I got some precepts, put together, and Lord willing, this is edifying. We'll start off with Matthew 24. Matthew 24 and 14. It says, "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations. Then shall the end come." So the gospel of the kingdom was going to be preached into all the world, because Israel was scattered through all the world, man. Israel was everywhere. Israel was really everywhere, and it came, the Christian churches, they try to make this passage to be a all-inclusive thing, but it's really not. And we're gonna keep going on this a little bit. I'll get this Matthew's 10. Matthew's 10 and I believe it's 7. I'm going to start at 5. It says, and this is proof, because this is what the Lord Yahushai said. But we're really going to get into a little bit of history, because this is called the diaspora. And I guess some of these precepts go into some of these words that'll give you a little more deeper understanding. But this is Matthew's 10 and 5. It says, these 12 Yahushai sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles. And let's get that word, man, right there. So go not into the way of the Gentiles. Ethnos. The word for that particular word in that scripture is ethnos. And it says, multitude, whether of men or beasts, associated with living things, a company, a troop, a swarm, multitude of individuals of the same nature or genus, genealogy. It says a tribe, nation, people, or group. So go not in the way of the ethnos is literally just saying go not into the other nations, the other tribes, those other people. Strong's definition says ethnos, probably from G 1486, a race as of the same habit, tribe, especially a foreign, non-Jewish. It's a non-Jew. So he said, go not into the way of the Gentile, heathen, nation, people. So he said, go not into the way of the other nations. I'm going to read it again. It says, start at the red. It says, go not into the way of the Gentiles, the other nations, and into any city of the Samaritan enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So when they went preaching the word, it wasn't to everybody, but it was those Israelites that were scattered through those other nations, man. We're gonna keep going in this, man, because Israel was scattered among everyone. And I'm gonna bring out a precept from the Old Testament too in a minute. We're going to keep going in the New Testament, man. Got to slaughter these so-called Christians with, a little fact. This is John 7. I'll start at 33. It says, Then said Yahushua unto them, Yet a little while I am with you, and then I go unto him that sent me. And he's talking about the Lord, because the Lord knew he was going to have to die. It says, verse 34, ye shall seek me and shall not find me, where I am, thither ye cannot come. Because he was going to go up to the spiritual realm now. Verse 35, then said the Jews amongst themselves, whither will he go? It says that we shall not find him. Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? We're going to get this, man. It says, go into that word disperse. The word for disperse is G1290, diaspora. And it says a scattering, dispersion of Israelites dispersed among foreign nations. So that's what this was. There were Israelites among foreign nations. And then I'm going to get a precept on that. It says the dispersed among the Gentiles. Now we're going to go to the same passage in the blue letter for that word Gentile. And it says Helen, a Greek either by nationality, whether a native of the main landor of the Greek islands or colonies. So, and it says Helen, Grecian, or inhabitant of Hellas, by extension a Greek-speaking person, especially a non-Jew. And Israel was considered non-Jews, man. You know, you got to pick the bones out of this. But a Greek-speaking person, because Israel took on the customs of these other nations due to a law that I believe it was Titus. It goes over it in a book of First Maccabees, the first chapter. Bear with me, I'll get it for you real quick. Oh, no, it's Antiochus. Antiochus made the law. It says, it's First Maccabees 1:41. It says, moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, many people of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbaths. So he made it a law. And it says, I'm gonna keep going on verse 44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths in the feast days and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness, cleanliness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law and change the ordinances, and whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he should die. So this is why there were the dispersed in Hellenes. This is why there were Hellenist Jews, because they made it illegal for you to be an Israelite and follow the Lord's rules, man. The Lord's law, statutes, and commandments. They made it illegal. So, in this precept here, it says, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will we go? This is John 7:35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will we go? Will he go, that we should not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Because because they knew, the Jews back then knew that there were Israelites that left off the customs of the Lord, man. And they treated them as the heathen. I'm going to keep going, man. This is Ezekiel 36. Salakia. Ezekiel 36. I'm going to start at verse 18. It says, "Wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols, whether they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen," that dispersion, "and they were dispersed through the countries, according to their way and according to their doings, I judged them." So that's where the dispersion came from. And that's why the word had to be preached into all nations, because Israel was among all nations. Israel, it was on all nations, man. And that's something that Christians don't like to go in, man. They don't go into history and they don't go into words. You have to go into these words to actually get the understanding of what was going on in the scriptures, because this is not a religion. This is history, and this is heritage. This is history and heritage. And when to be in history and heritage, you got to go into history and the heritage, which part of the heritage was the language. So you have to go into these words, man. This is Ezekiel 20, started 23. "I lifted up my hand unto them also in the wilderness," and he's talking about Israel, because the Lord lifted up his hand in the wilderness for Israel, "that I should scatter them among the heathen and disperse them through the countries, because they had not executed my judgments, but despised my statutes, and had polluted my Sabbaths, and their eyes were after their idols." So this is why Israel was dispersed among all nations, man. Because countless captivities, Israel did not all leave all those captivities. Some Israelites stood behind, man. Israel was in all nations. Israel still is in all nations. This is Salakia. Where I scattered them. Salakia, give me a second. Whither I have scattered them. Oh, man. It's like, yeah, Akim. Gotta get this precept, man. It's Genesis 11 and... No. That's not the precept. Ah, snap. Yeah, this is it. Zechariah 7:14. "But I scattered them with a whirlwind among all nations whom they knew not. Thus the land was desolate after them, that no man passed through nor returned, for they laid the pleasant land desolate." So that's what happened, man. This dispersion. We were into all nations. All nations. Just like the Lord said he's going to deliver us out of all nations, whether we were scattered, man. I'm going to keep going on this because this gets, there's a little meat in these scriptures. Lord willing, this is edifying, man. Let me get this Luke 21 and 24. Luke 21 and 24. "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led awake." I'm going to start 23. "But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword," Israel, "and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden under foot of the Gentiles." And I'm going to get that word Gentiles here, man. It's not every time you see Gentile, it's talking about Heathens. Ethnos, just like we went through before, ethnos. They should be trodden down of the ethnos, the heathen, until the time of the Gentiles until the time of the heathen be fulfilled. Which is happening to this day, man. And it's being fulfilled. So we were scattered into all nations. And when did this happen, man? When was this happening? This is pulled this up. This was 70 AD. This is when we got dispersed into. This is one of the dispersions, man. It says this is the siege on Wikipedia. It says siege of Jerusalem, 70 AD. It says the siege of Jerusalem in the year 70 was the decisive event in the first. They say Jewish, but it's Jew-Israelite Roman War. The Roman army, led by future Emperor Titus Vespasian and Tiberius Julius Alexander as his second in command, besieged and conquered the city of Jerusalem, which had been controlled by a Judean rebel faction since 66. Now, I'm going to go down here, and it's going to tell you a little more history, man. It says the siege ended on August 30th with the sacking of the city and the destruction of its second temple. The destruction of both the first and the second temple is still mourned annually at the Jewish feast of Tishba, celebrating Tisha B'Av, which that's says the Ark of Titus, celebrating the Roman sack of Jerusalem, and the temple still stands in Rome. And the Ark of Titus, man, this is part of the history, man. But they don't want to talk about this. And you've seen this arch, man. When they tuck everything out the temple, man. So Israelites fled into the mountains, man. Israelites fled into the mountains, fled into all the other countries, man. So in Revelation said the earth helped the woman. Because he fled into all these lands, man. This is Acts. And on this, I'll close it out. This is Acts 2. Start at verse 4. And this is why this is why the word was preached through all the world, because of the dispersion of the Jews. The dispersion of the true children of Israel, which happened through multiple captivities, and again in the Roman captivity, when they sieged Jerusalem, because the Lord told them, when Jerusalem is compassed about with enemies on all sides, flee ye to the mountains. And that happened. That's 70 AD. This is Acts 2 and 4. It says, and they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak with other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven, because they were scattered through all nations. And it says, verse 6, now when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own tongue when we were born? It says Parthians, Medes, Elamites, and the dwellers in Mesopotamia, and in Judea, and in Cappadocia, and in Pontus, and in Asia, Phrygia, and Pamphylia, and in Egypt, and in parts of Libya, and about Cyrene, and strangers of Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our own tongues in the wonderful works of the Most High. So those people all these nations that they're just listed, is because There were Jews out of all these nations because Israel was scattered abroad through the four corners of the wind, man. So when the Lord said, preach the gospel into all kingdoms, into all nations, man, he was talking about preach it to those Israelites that are over there in those other nations, man. This dispersion, the Hellenized Jews, and whatever country that they were in, we had to preach the word to them as well. Just like now, you have Israelites in America now that call themselves Americans, and they believe themselves to be Americans, just like you brothers were, and I was at some point. I thought I was just, I'm from here. I'm American. I thought that shit, man. But I'm a so-called Jew. I'm a Jew, not a so-called Jew. I'm a Jew out of the tribe of Judah, out of the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Scattered abroad through the four corners of the world, man, through captivity, just like when the Lord came, why he was preaching in all nations, why he sent the 12 apostles to preach in all nations, man. And that's where the word was being preached, and that's why it was preached throughout all the world, because there was a dispersion of the Jews. With that being said, I want to, that's the wrap up for this lesson, man. I want to give double honors. I want to say, call halal, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, double honors to elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to Jehovah elect. Shalom.